The rain fell hard against the window. It was a typical drab and boring day. It was, oh no, it was 5 a.m. He went to the sorting office and went through the motions. Trudging through the sleet and snow, he had one thing in his favour, a good imagination. No matter how boring the day, he could always zone out and daydream. He was 50, fit, and young-looking. He loved being a postman, but it was better in a warm country. Most of the day was spent daydreaming about living somewhere warm, like America or Barbados. It was terrible in the UK, the weather. Being a postman is great in the sunshine but difficult in the rain, unless you like the rain. Another perk of the job was occasionally he would get invited in for coffee by some lonely woman. He was still hoping for someone attractive to invite him in. He was a lonely soul and he dreamt of being a successful writer. He was a fan of Roald Dahl and Jeffrey Archer for their success and determination. He had a lot of ideas, but he had only half written his stories. His feet hurt with plodding around the street, but at least it kept him fit. He was slim and athletic. He played tennis and went to the gym. Often he would treat his round like an exercise routine. His legs were full of muscles with all of the walking. One of his heroes was Sylvester Stallone. He had always admired how he had built himself up in life. It was obvious women were attracted to men with muscles, and it was his goal to get there. He was a Walter Mitty character. He was determined to achieve his dream. He was 20 minutes into his round when the sun came out and shone on his shoulders. It was a good omen. He had a spring in his step as he popped the letters through the letterbox. Each letter was special unless it was a bill. He loved being the bringer of good news. He had chatted to a few women on the ground as he was bored of male conversation. Constant talk about football drove him mad. He loved females as they were more interesting. There was one woman on his round who caught his eye. She was Italian, very pretty and intelligent. He was hoping that she would invite him in and for coffee. It was a sackable offence, but he was willing to risk it. He dreaded the winter being a postman. Although the snow looked lovely, it was very tiring trudging through it. He desperately needed some excitement and romance in his life. A life without excitement was very draining. He hurried through his round, whistling as he went. He loved looking at people's gardens and through people's windows to see how they lived. The variety of styles of the homes and gardens always surprised him. Each one was unique, just like people. Some were ugly and some were beautiful. Most of the gardens were in good condition, which bode well for the human race, he thought. It made him feel happy and energetic, and he picked up the pace. He realized when he daydreamed the hours went by quicker. This was a good time to let his imagination flow free. He often wished he lived in Victorian times in London, married to a rich lady. He definitely thought he was born into the wrong world, as he was too sophisticated for the people around him, he thought. Hello. It was almost impossible to meet someone you could have intelligent conversations with. A lot of times on the round he talked to himself. It was a good way to get rid of the time. He popped the letters through the letterbox, hoping they would be bringing good news. He loved the power a postman had to brighten someone's day. He loved getting letters himself. It made him feel special. He cheered up even more when he realized he had a parcel for Sonia, the Italian lady he was keen on. He would have to knock on her door. He was hoping she would answer and he would get a chance to talk to her. She opened the door with a big smile and asked him in. Her home was very chic and stylish, decorated with Turkish rugs and crystal chandeliers. Sophia was wearing a knee-length skirt that showed her figure in a most admirable fashion. She asked him to sit down and offered him a glass of wine. She asked him about his life and he made small talk. He told her of his failed relationships and his childhood in Yorkshire. She listened intently and smiled. He thought things were going well. She told him of her failed marriage and how her husband Tom had run off with the secretary. How typical that she hadn't suspected anything, even with the late nights and unanswered calls. She was blissfully unaware. "Were you very upset when he left you?" he said. "Yes, I was shocked," she replied, "but I'm over that now. I don't wish him any harm, though. Anyway," she said, "it's time to live in the present." The present, it was wrapped beautiful in gold. It seemed a shame to open it as it looked so pretty. She deftly undid the bow and the wrapping, loosened to reveal a white box. "I wonder what this could be," she said. "I can't stand the suspense," he said, getting into the vibe. "The moment you opened the package, I knew something was wrong, and my chance of a date was greatly diminished." The first glimpse inside the box was red. She frowned, looking puzzled. As she opened both flaps and the contents were revealed, she let out a piercing scream. Inside the box was a withered hand, covered in dried blood, and the ring on his finger was clearly a wedding ring. Her husband's wedding ring. The conclusion was easily reached. In the palm of her dead husband's hand was a note which she read aloud. "I'm sorry I took your husband, but now I'm giving him back." After reading this, she fainted. I settled her on the chair and called the police. That's my short story, The Postman. I hope you enjoyed it, which is at Please Sub Me.